afternoon, you lovely people. How are you today? Let us know, because we're always interactive here on Crafters TV, and we'd love to know what your plans are for this Sunday. Hopefully, for the next couple of hours, you're going to be wanting to craft along. We have got an amazing craft along, and I love it because Craig was just saying earlier actually about that we're all starting to get ready for Christmas. We're sort of coming out of those summer season, going into that autumn. We're thinking about Christmas makes, and I love the fact that Craig has got something very special with our amazing dies that we've got, which are our door reveal dies. If you haven't seen them, make sure you save the show, and then that way you can go and watch back if you want to go for them today. But Craig, it's a fun one, this one today.
Well, I hope so anyway, Debbie, because I thought Liam done an incredible advent calendar with these. Michelle had also done one. Some of the girls and guys on the design team have done them as well. So I know this is something a lot of you have thought, oh wow, I would love to kind of recreate some of these ones. Now, my ones, these are flat because we're going to put a stamped image behind the back because of time. But then this is at least showing you the basis, the concept of creating an advent calendar. Believe it or not, it will take the 2 hours. So therefore, I'm just stepping you through the basis of constructing an advent calendar. Then if you want to go back, do a different one, add depth to it, you know, add layers to it, do different doors, you can do that. But I just thought it's a nice one to actually do on a craft along. And because we're doing it live, we will definitely do door number 1 to 24, and we won't do number 23 twice that you might have spotted in the image. You definitely won't. So tell you what, before we show you up close as to what we're going to do, here is what you're going to need to do the craft along. So if you want to do it exactly as I'm going to be doing it, you're going to need your door reveal stamp and die set. It is the square. You are also going to use the Year of Crafts. So this was the number die that we've used. Sarah's Signature Frosty and Bright, the 12 by 12 and the A4 Luxury Card Pack. Centura Pearl, Snow White with a hint of silver. Multi-purpose white card, and then Spectrum Noir Quick Dries, Chinese Red, Baby Blue, Fuchsia and Seal Brown. And then the additional elements you're going to need: your 8x8 stamping platform, Festive Decoration stamp set, Winter Wonderland decoration stamp set, Scoremaster large guillotine. I'm going to use the Gemini MIDI. You could use your Junior, of course, if you want. Poke tool, tacky glue, tape runner, low tack tape, and some twine. That's what we are going to be using to make exactly what I'm going to do. And then here we go. Twine to hold it out. Let's just make sure I've got it in the right way. It's going to fold out. It's all made from A4 cardstock, not A3 as you've seen from that shopping list. I am using the one size reveal die. As I say, afterwards, if you want to have a play about, you can do and do different ones, but this is going to show you the basis of creating an advent calendar when it comes to the countdown of Christmas. You could do photos in there if you want to, up to you, but this is what we are going to do.
You actually just took the words out of my mouth, Craig. And when I was looking at that, I thought, how nice would it be to do an advent calendar with photos behind? Yeah. I think that's a brilliant idea.
And what we will do within this craft along as well, you might think, but how am I going to get the stamped image in the right position if the door is sealed? I'm going to show you that. We're going to create a template, which means if you want to do photos behind it, you're going to get them in that perfect position.
Ah, fabulous. So anyone that's new to us today, just found us or just tuned in, we do sort of a craft along a few weeks after we've launched a new release. So these door reveal dies come out just a couple of weeks ago, and you have loved them. So I love the fact that you could already have them in craft along with Craig, or you could buy them today and then watch the programme back at a later date. Now, there are 18 dies in this collection and 12 stamps, and today's price is $29.99 or $34.95. Now, just in case you don't know what's going on this weekend, we've decided as a treat that we're going to put you a level up. So you're going to do a trial of that next level from Club Inspire. If you are a bronze member, which is the sort of like your bottom platform where you come into us on there, you'll go up to silver level. Silver will go up to gold, gold will go up to platinum, and platinum, we're not going to leave you out, because on everything you order today, your normal platinum price, so you can see there at $23.99, you'll get another 5% off, which is what, Jamie? about 22.80. That's amazing. So yeah, so just remember that you're going up to that next level, which is incredible. Now the door reveals. These are so much fun. Last year, I believe it was, we bought some memory books out to you, and we had a die in there that tore a little sort of long strip off that you could put sort of wordings behind or a sentiment. And it was so popular, people asked for these next level ones. What I love about them is you're getting 3 different sizes in here, and you're getting the mats and layers for them as well. So you're getting your square ones here, you're getting your, this one is our curved door, so another beautiful design, and then this one, we've got our rectangle doors. So you're getting those 3 different designs. That's a really good buy, actually, $29.99 or $34.95 for all 3 of those, which are quite incredible. And there's lots of different things we can do with them. I'm sure we'll have some samples later on. But for now, I think if you're already out there and Craig's already, we'll get going. What are we starting with then, Craig?
Right, let's start with the 4 panels that's going to create that fold out. So what we're going to do is take your Centura Pearl, your Snow White with a hint of silver, and then we're going to cut 3 panels, which are going to be 8.5 inches by 7. So let's bring in our guillotine. So I'm going to go along now, because of course our A4 cardstock is 8 1/4. It just means that the 8.5 we're going to have to do it lengthways. So we're going to go up to 8.5. And we're going to do by 7. So that is 1. We're then going to take the other 2. We're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to come up to 8.5 by 7. And then if I take my third one, we're going to do 8.5 by 7. So let's go up to our 8.5 and turn to 7. And then what we're going to do on the 4th one, we're going to then do 8.5, 8.5, but then what we're going to do is we're going to turn that around, and that one is then going to be 6.5. So we're going to go to 6.5 here, and there's a reason being for that one. So I've got 3 of them, which are 8.5 by 7 inches. And then I've got 1 that is 8.5 by 6.5, because we're going to take these 3 and I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and then what we're going to do, up onto the box lid side, I'm going to go up in with that 8.5 length, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And this is what's going to give me the tab to then fold over. But of course, we only need them on the 3. The very last one, we don't need an additional tab, hence why this is then cut to 6.5, because if I put that to the side, if I score at the 1/2 inch mark, you can see then they're all going to be 6.5, because that's our fold line. So let's bring this last one in. So we're going to pop that up to the side, and then we're going to score. So I'm just going to reiterate them just one more time. So what I've got is I've got my 3 panels. These ones are 8.5 by 7 inches, and then I've scored down at 1/2 inch. And then on my 4th one, I've then done 8.5 by 6.5, and that's all that we need to do. So I can then go in with this one here, and I'm going to fold. I'm going to give them a good burnish, because this is going to be our hinge. So we're going to do that on all 3 of them. And then we're going to go in. I'm scoring them all in the one direction. Of course, when it comes to our actual Advent calendar, some are going to be mountain and some are going to be valley, but we can deal with that one just shortly. So we've now got our 3 panels. So we're going to have our tab that's going to go under. So we're going to do our tab underneath there. We're going to do our tab underneath into there. And let me just move that one right to the end there. That's then how we're going to join all 4 of them together. And then all that I'm going to do is on each tab, just a very, very slight angle, Debbie. Nothing really overly dramatic, just a tiny little slither at an angle. And then that just means that when we do join top to bottom, we're not going to get any little bit just peeping out the edge.
It's amazing how that's just that tiny technique can really help when you're putting it together, doesn't it? And you just don't see where one's joined to the other.
Well, that's it, because if you don't do that and you join them together, sometimes, even if your card is maybe a millimetre out or something, it can just pop out at the edge or at the bottom. Whereas by doing that, it avoids that part of being seen. And then what we will be doing shortly anyway is we will be backing it with some of the pattern paper. So you're not actually going to see any of the join. So that gives us our 4 panels. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tacky glue for this, because yes, your red liner tape will work, even your tape runner. Keeping in mind, it's an advent calendar, it's a usable advent calendar. So if you're giving these to kiddies, they're really going to be opening and closing it.
Yeah.
You think 24 times over December, and then the lead up, they're going to be looking at it, opening, excited. So I really want to make sure it's got a really, really strong bond. So therefore, if you want an absolute strong bond that you know will not come apart, I would always recommend your tacky glue. And then if you want to use your glass mat as a little helping aid to line up, then you can do. Because it is completely straight that we're going for, you know, it is kind of easy just to do that. And then all that I'm doing as well is I am just going up to that last fold line, because keeping in mind what we are wanting to do is fold this back and forwards on itself. So I'm just going to press. Don't worry about the direction at the moment, what's mountain and what's valley. The main point is we're going to join all 3 together with our tacky glue, and then that gives us the basis of the calendar. So let's go in, work our way along, just up to that score line. And whether it's tape, whether it's glue, just run it back and forwards, building up that heat. That heat will also help make it tacky, even more tacky. So let's just work that in. And then last but by no means least, we're just going to go in, work our way along, give that a little bit of a scribble. Less is more when it comes to our tacky glue.
Yes, I always say the same thing. It's fabulous glue, isn't it?
It really is. It really, really is. And sometimes, certainly for me, I really had to break the habit of putting a lot on before I start to use the Collal tacky glue. Here we go, press that in. Yes,
I notice you use your fine tip nozzle a lot, Craig, not your normal bottle of glue.
Yeah, no, I use mine all the time. So whether it's intricate die cuts, whether it is joining panels, whether it's mats and layers, wherever I use my tacky glue, I always use my little applicator.
They're very good, aren't they? We've got them on the show today,
We do.
so if you was looking to get yourself some of those fine tip nib bottles, we've got them in packs of 2, which are amazing.
And they're actually a good way, Debbie, to ensure that you only put a little amount on.
Yes,
You know, it's a good way of doing it. And then, you know, it's saving on the amount you're using, you're not wasting. And as I say, it ensures you're putting the right amount. So then we've got, of course, our advent calendar coming together. Now, of course, if you did want to join them, so it's going to be a dimensional one, you can do.
Oh, yes, that's clever.
So it's a nice way. You could, if you wanted to, have a tab on that 4th end, join it together, and then of course you can then start to flatten it, you know, if you don't want to have it out all throughout the month. It's up to yourself. But at this point, what we're going to do is, you can see that perfectly from up ahead. So this middle one, all that I need to do is just fold back on itself, and then I am going to give that one a burnish, and these 2 will still fold back on themselves, which gives you your opening of your calendar.
Very nice.
So that is the starter, the basis of your advent calendar. So I'm just going to give that a really, really good burnish. keeping in mind it's going to be flexed a lot, certainly if you're making it to give to the kiddies. And then, as I say, there we go. We've got our calendar bases starting to go. And then this is where afterwards you can have a play. As I say, if you wanted to have it as a cube or a box, whatever you want, you can do that. But we're going to go with this one. So let's just press that in, making sure it's nice and sturdy. So what we're now going to do is we're going to take we're going to cover the back layer first. So what I'm going to do is we will then decorate the outer panels here, because these are very, very straightforward. So I think if we decorate these ones and then we can have a little break, and then when we come back to me, it means we can then really start with our advent calendar. So what I'm going to do, and what you'll probably notice, is I've gone for 2 of them here. Now it's up to you whether you want to then use the same pattern paper for each one, whether you want to change it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do teal, pink, just because I want to. I didn't spend a lot of time decorating it with die cuts and embossed layers. You can do that if you want. Again, the whole concept of this craft along is to construct the advent calendar so you can decorate as you wish. So what I need to do now is if I bring in one of my pattern papers, so we're going to go in.
These are gorgeous, the papers in here,
They
aren't
are.
they?
They really are. And you can tell I love them, because I think this must be about my 3rd craft along where I've used the Frosty and Bright.
I think for a Christmas pad, this has got to be the prettiest Christmas pad ever.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'd agree with you. You know what? I love the teals anyway. I love the duck egg blues, and I think the fuchsias, the pinks, the little bits of grey and white.
Yes.
It's so elegant and beautiful. I absolutely adore it, and this is why I keep going back. Anytime I see these pads in a little bundle or anything, that's it. I've got another order coming to the house. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to then bring in, so I need 4 panels now. So I'm going to cut at 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. So we're going to work our way around, just so that you can see what that's then going to do is mat and layer perfectly into there. And once again, because of the advent calendar and the time I want to spend on the actual advent calendar, I'm not doing any additional mats and layers. You can, but I want to get to what really is the fun bit of creating the advent calendar. So once again, 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. So that's my 2 that I've got. So what I can now do is jump to the pink. So I'm going to bring in my 2 pink layers that I've got now. And of course you can cut 2 layers at once when it comes to our guillotine, but wherever possible, it's the same with die cutting. I will always do 1 at a time. If you can do that, I just think you get that perfect cut on the top. Sometimes if you cut more than 1, you can get a little bit of feathering on the layer underneath. So if you've got the time, for all the time that it takes, I would do them individually. So 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. So what we can do is move them out the way at the moment. We can then move that one out the way. If I bring this one back in here, what I've then got is my mint, my pink, my mint and my pink. And then I'm going to use my tape runner for these ones. It's one of those where when it comes to double-sided papers, I'm usually not bad, Debbie. I'm quite good at, well, I'm going to use that side. I don't always have favourites. I've struggled with this paper pad.
Yes,
struggled
I know what
big
you mean.
time. Really, really have, because I've loved all the designs.
I think it's because normally where you have the coordinating papers on the back of them, the main focal point is all the pattern, the real overly pattern side. But actually, the less pattern side is so pretty, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, it really does look like a snow flurry, doesn't it?
It does.
It also looks like twinkling lights. I mean, it's such a beautiful paper pad. I absolutely love it. And you're right, the colour pattern on this is amazing. But obviously, whatever colour, whatever pads you've got in your stash is going to work with this craft along, isn't it?
That's it. And that's what I love about the craft alongs that we do, is obviously we give you the ability to craft along with us and use exactly what we use. That's why we will set and we write out the step-by-steps or the actual items that you're using, which actually, leading on to what was a way to say there, I have written the step-by-steps for these, Debbie, so I'll post them on my social media later on today as well, so at least
fabulous.
they're there and written for them. But yeah, if you want to then make exactly what we do, but you want to use a different pattern paper, do you know what I mean? These measurements are exactly the same as the Frosty and Bright than if you were to use 'Tis the Season or a Sarah's Signet. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's the paper.
Absolutely.
It's the measurement that you need to know, and that's the key thing.
Yeah, I mean, we are award-winning, remember,
We
here
are.
at Crafters TV, especially for our craft along. We're extremely proud of that as well, because we've only been going a couple of years with the craft along, and you absolutely love it. So remember, because we're interactive, if you're crafting along with Craig, you could send us pictures of how you're going along, and at the end of the show, you know, if you're not quite sure how to send them to us, but you can see below here it says Get Social with Crafters TV, so it shows you how to do it. You can also post direct to Craig's own page as well on Facebook. Yeah, you can get all of these. So at studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk, send us in your pics if you're crafting along of what you've done. And even if it's previous craft along, we always like to see what you've done.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there is what will be the back of our advent calendar, Debbie. So just once more, what I done is I cut 3 panels to 8.5 inches by 7, and then I scored at 1/2 inch down 3 of them. And then on the 4th one, I cut to 8.5 by 6.5 inches, joined them all together, and then using my pattern paper, I've cut 4 panels to 6.25 by 8.25, and I've attached them on. And then, as I say, that is going to be our craft along. In actual fact, what I need to do is just bend them that way and that way. And then when we can come back to me afterwards, we can then start to make the inside of our advent calendar.
Oh, thank you, Craig. I absolutely love that. It is amazing, because what it does show is the versatility and how a craft along can get your sort of brain thinking. And I love the fact, like Craig said earlier, it doesn't matter what you're crafting with, this gives you the basis of how to make that. And that's what the main thing is. A few hellos for you all that's in today. Georgianne is in from Florida saying hi to Debbie and Craig. We've got Barbara in from Wisconsin. We've got, I take it the football's on today, is it? So I read somewhere about the football. Packers playing football in London today. So hi for Carol saying hi from Wisconsin. We've got Rosalind in, we've got Vicky, Eileen, we've got Pam who's saying, oh, it's a happy birthday to Pam E's hubby. It's her daughter today, her hubby's daughter. Easy for me to say. It's her hubby's birthday and her daughter is home today from college with friends, so she's just popping in to say hello. Cynthia has said, great timing because she got a reveal die yesterday, yay, which is brilliant. So we've got a question come in. How do you keep the pin from gluing in the bottle? That's from Charlotte. So do you have any ideas on that, Craig?
I can't say I've ever had that issue.
So you keep yours upside down like me.
Yeah.
So that's my solution to that is if your pin glues in the bottle. So I don't know if you do the same, Craig. When I take my pin out, I always take the glue off of the pin.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that?
Yeah.
Yes, because otherwise that glue on that pin while you're using the glue bottle is drying on your pin.
Good point.
So just
good point.
give that a wipe away, and also always keep it upside down, because then glue is always on your pin and it stops it from drying on the the inside once your glue starts going down.
That's it.
So yeah, so keep it upside down and keep your pin in, and wipe the glue away, even if it's on a piece of tissue. If you've got tacky glue in there, it won't affect your skin because it's water-based. But if you do have sensitive hands, just wipe it away with a bit of tissue before you replace it back in the glue bottle, and that should help. And we've got a hi from Kimberly from North Carolina, and good morning all from a crisp day in Missouri from Cindy. So morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are watching from, you're joining us for Craft Along, and Craft Along today is featuring the most amazing dies. Now these dies are what we call our door reveal dies. There's 3 different shapes which are all beautiful in their design. You can use them to do so much, and obviously how they say is door reveal, so you can reveal anything you want to put underneath. Now Craig is using them today as an advent calendar, which I think is an absolute brilliant idea. You can use them to put a secret message underneath, you can use them for your baby showers, you can use them to propose if you want to, anything you want to use them for. We've got them on today, 18 dies actually, and 12 stamps for $29.99 or $34.95, which is absolutely amazing. So if you haven't got the dies and you want to shop for them today, make sure you just bookmark the show, and you can watch it back another time and craft along with Craig at any time in your pleasure. Now, something very exciting that we have got back in is Sarah's mystery bag. What I love about a Sarah signature bag is it literally is, you know, that all her ranges offer everything. They offer versatility, they offer stamps, they offer dies, they offer card, everything you can find. This one is a mixture, so I think this is a great one for gift giving. It's a great one if you are new to crafting, and I'm going to show you all the bits and pieces that you're going to get in this bag, because it is an out of this world deal. It's amazing. All of this that I'm showing you today is for £30. I mean, it's normally £102. That's amazing saving. You're getting dies in there, you're getting word dies, you're getting stamps and dies. This is a great one to have. You're getting these butterfly stamps, which I think is absolutely brilliant, and we've just had some vintage butterflies as dies to come out. Those will complement that really well. This one's a great one to have and will work really well on Craig's Craft Along today because it has the number stamp. So if you haven't got dies to cut out your numbers for your advent calendar, you could always stamp them on. We've got a beautiful cut and emboss folder. Oh, it's stuck. There we go. This one is great, and this will go really well with all what we had on this morning in our Colour Me Happy with the metallics. Those ink pads are going to work beautifully on there. Being Christmas, we've got a Christmas tree stamp there, so you can see all those beautiful designs. We've also got some stencils, so great stencils from the Enchanted Dreams, and also from Garden Party, so we've got extra stencils there. There's also embellishments in there, so we've got our butterfly, metal butterflies there. We've got our toppers. I'm still going. I mean, this is incredible. I can't believe this is in here because this is just absolutely amazing, which is our faux snow. So from the Frosty and Bright, that's amazing. I mean, it's actually made out of, you won't believe me if you haven't had it, but this is made out of plastic, little tiny pieces of plastic. Yes, you'd never think it because it's soft and fluffy, but it's recycled plastic our faux snow is made out of. So you're helping the environment there as well. And then you've got the card paper pads. Let's just bring that round like that. And you can see, and that's the one I think you're using today as well, isn't it, Craig?
It is
there
indeed.
You go. All of that for £30 or $40. That's insane value, honestly. And you get 50 extra bonus points, and you get to buy it at your next level. So if you are a gold member, you can get that for platinum price at £24 today. And don't worry, platinum, we're giving you another 5% off. So that's going to be amazing. Right, so Craig, I think if you're ready, let's get back over to you.
Let's do it. Let's go for it. Well, funny enough, talking about that cardstock, let's bring it in. Now, I'm going to be using the turquoise and the fuchsia. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our guillotine again. So what we need is we need 4 panels. So 2 fuchsia, or I've been calling it raspberry, 2 raspberry and 2 of the turquoise. So we're going to cut at 6.5 inches. So we're going to go in 6.5 inches. So we're going to go up, 6.25. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go around and we're going to go up, and it's going to, literally, Debbie, it's going to be a slither that's coming off there, because I've gone up to 8 1/4, which is just about the size of the A4, but I've just cut, you can see that, literally a little slither there. That's how pernickety I can be. But do you know what? It's a perfect measurement. So we're going to do that again. So we're going to go 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. And partly reason as to do that was because it gives us full panels that are left. So it's not as if it's going to be a little bit of a strip here and a strip there, and what am I going to do with them? We're going to be using them later anyway for the doors, but if you didn't, then it means that's full panels. That could be card blanks if you wanted to, so there's no waste. So let's take our 2 teal, and we're going to do exactly the same. 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. And then last but by no means least, we're going to do 6 1/4 and 8 1/4. There we go. So let's set them to the side for now. So then what we can then do is let's bring in our panel. So let's start to pop these ones into position. So like before, I'm going to offset each colour. Now what I do want to make sure, and it's up to you whether you do this. So you could, if you wanted to, have, so that panel there, I've got the turquoise. So you could alternate it if you want. So you've got turquoise and then you've got fuchsia on the other side. The next panel is pink. On the reverse is going to be the turquoise. That's up to you. I'm going to keep it in flow of the back layer. And then what we can do as well for these ones, I'm just going to mat and layer these straight away. Now
we just had a question. Sorry
yeah.
to interrupt.
No,
Just
it's
so
okay.
we can. We've got Crafty and Angie just joined us. She's just asked if you could just recap on the measurements for those individual panels for your base card.
These ones here?
No, your white card.
The white,
Just
yeah, of course I
recap
can.
Before we just went any further. So that's the whole great thing with the craft along.
Exactly.
If you've got any questions, just pop us a message and we'll try and get Craig to answer them for you. But here, just recap that base measurements for you, Angie.
Absolutely, we will do for sure. So what you're going to need is, you're going to need 3 panels, which are measured to 8 1/2 inches by 7 inches. So you're going to need 3 of them, and then what you're then going to do is you're going to score at 1/2 inch in. And then on your 4th panel, what you're then going to do is cut one of them to 8 1/2 inches by 6 1/2 inches. So then the 3 of them, because that gives you your little tabs, all you need to do is join them all together. And then when it comes to your pattern paper layer, all that you need is you need 4, whichever design you want to use. 4 of them are cut to 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. So that's 6 1/4 by 8 1/4 for all 4 panels. So hopefully you managed to catch that one. Still, as you said, Debbie, any other questions, any issues, just get in the comments, ask Debbie, and we will help you out as we're going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that one to the side. No, I'm not, because I was about to use that, wasn't I? Let's bring in these layers here. So this one I've started to pop my tape on. So we're going to go into here. If you wanted to, what you could do, you'll see just shortly, on this top layer, we're going to be adding some other cardstock so that we can stamp into the back. If you wanted to gut these ones, you absolutely could do. I'm not, because I want that strength and structure to the full advent calendar. But if you wanted to, these base mat and layer panels, you could absolutely gut if you wanted to. So let's go into this one here. So we can then press that one in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the other 2. Now, it's in advent calendar, it's 24 doors, and just like yourself at home, the whole premise of the craft along is to do it together. Now, if I was doing this at home, as in what I mean by that, as if I didn't work here, if I was you at home, I'm only going to have 1 set of dies, just like I've got now. So I hold no apologies in saying, when we start to do the doors, Debbie, it will be a bit repetitive, But then that is what you're going to find with an advent calendar. So don't worry if you think, oh, he's doing a lot of the same. They all come together. So let's go in with our last layer. Last layer, first layer, kind of irrelevant. So then we've got pattern on one, we've got our block on the other, and we can set that one to the side. So I better just recap that measurement once more. So for these 4 panels, I'd cut them to 6 1/4 by 8 1/4, and I've done that 4 times. So that's these ones. So I'm going to move these bits of cardstock underneath just now. We will still need them, but I'm going to move them out the way. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut our panels that we are then going to do our advent doors in. So I'm going to bring in my white Centura pearls. That's the same one. This is the one with a hint of silver. And we're going to cut 4 of these to 6 inches by 8 inches. And that, by doing 4 of them, what that does is that means that we've got our matting layer all the way round. So let's do the 4 of them. So as I say, that was then 6 inches by 4 inches. No, it's not, 8 inches. Where did I get the 4 from? Let's bring in, because I need to do 4, that's what it was. So let's go 6 inches and then 8 inches. And I seem to be shy of 1 sheet of Centura pearl. I wonder if Tracy is about, who can. Here was me prepping myself. Let's see. Tracy, my lovely Tracy, could you please get me 1 other sheet of Centura pearl snow white with a hint of silver? Thanks. So while we wait on that, what we can then do is move that to the side. Now, this is all about, for this one, what we're going to do is, you know me, I love symmetrical, I love evenness. You can absolutely randomly pop your advent doors if you want to. But what I'm going to do within this one here is, I'm going to take a ruler and then see this very first notch. It's about 1/4 inch, this very first line. Thank you, my darling Tracy. Let's just cut that while we're here. So let's cut that one, 6 inches by 8 inches there. There we go, so that's just got all our panels now. So what I was talking about is ensuring that we get our doors in the correct place. So what I'm then going to do is this first line within my ruler, I'm going to match that right up against the edge of my cardstock, and I'm going to draw a light pencil line all the way round. So this is going to be one of 2 guides, templates, to get our doors in the right place. Because I know when many of you were looking at Liam or some of the design team's advent calendars, you were wondering how they were getting the doors symmetrical in place. You were getting them all lined up. So this is one way, for me anyway, that I found quite easy. So once again, I'm going to take my ruler. I'm doing this on all 4 panels. I'm going to draw a light pencil line.
So just so everyone knows what you're doing, Craig, what is your measurement you're coming into on that?
So basically, Debbie, it's 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch. Okay.
1/4 inch. It's actually the very...
So that first lot of squares on your ruler.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So if I turn it that way there, so let's go, I'm going to hold that completely still. So this edge here has your metal edge. So your first line there, what I'm doing is I'm lining that one up against the edge of my cardstock, and then I'm drawing round. So basically it's 1/4 inch.
Lovely, just in case anybody doesn't have
It's a good,
rulers.
yeah, that's it. It's a good question to ask and point out, just in case. So what we can do is work our way all the way round. So we're working it in. So this is going to give us our central point within our advent calendar. It means our 6 small die cuts are going to fit perfectly within the middle. So let's bring in our last one. So we're going to do this once again. And as I say, it's only going to be a visual guide. for you to pop your dies into place. So you can absolutely do it lightly. Doesn't need to be heavy at all, because we are going to take an eraser. I just about said the other word there. The word that is a fine word in the UK. It is a very, very rude word in the United States. So we won't go there. Oh, apparently it was going to be on one of my bloopers, and also it was going to be one of my guess the words earlier on in Colour Me Happy. Yes, just about fell for that one there. So we've got our 4 panels, and then we've got our guide all the way round. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our dies. So we're going to take in our die. Now I'm going to go in with that smaller one, and this is the one where it's got the little edges to it. So this is where it's going to create the reveal. So this is now one of the points, Debbie, that I was saying that's going to be quite repetitive. So I'll step you through the first one, and then we're going to do the same on the other 4 panels. I'm using my MIDI today for a little bit extra speed. You can use your smaller die cutting machine, your Junior for instance. But the reason I've put this grid all the way around, I'm not sure if I can quite see it, all the way around. So my first die cut, what I'm going to do is the left hand and the top hand, I'm going to pop right into the corner of my pencil line, and then I'm going to tape that down. We're going to tape that into place, and then I'm going to run this one through my MIDI. So if I bring the first one in, and then as I say, I'm going to do it with the MIDI, because that makes it that little bit quicker. Then what I'm going to do, carefully take it out, because of course you don't want to do that reveal already. We're then going to peel that one off. I'm going to take the other side as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that again, Debbie, but my top edge is going to go up against my pencil mark, and this half circle is going to go against the right hand pencil mark.
I love that and that actually is what the craft alongs are about, Craig, that you've done all that hard work for someone, so there's no guessing now,
No.
Is there? You've got that guideline, which is brilliant.
The guideline is there, and if you wanted it to be a little bit more random, then of course you can do. But I know many, like myself, they like straight lines, they like symmetrical, certainly something within an advent calendar.
It looks nice as well, doesn't
It does. It's very pleasing on the eye, isn't it?
Yeah, very pleasing. I love this. I like the uniformness about this advent calendar. It feels grown up.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And why should we treat ourselves to something nice?
For sure, absolutely, for sure. And this works the same for the bottom now. If you were to start in the middle, you're not going to know exactly where the middle is, apart from doing a pencil line. So what to do, and many of us, we talk about it with your die cut sentiments or your words or that. Do the left and the right first and then go into the middle. So what I'm doing is I'm going down into the bottom, and we're doing that exactly the same. So we're going to work that in. So I am up against...
Kimberly's saying you're going to get a one-arm workout with all that.
I really am. I really, really am.
I love that, Kimberly. I know we've had some questions come in about the glues, so we will address them in a little while, but we'll let Craig finish his first
no problem.
Page off here.
No problem at all. Because once I've done this one, this is what I mean by it's going to be the same steps for the other 3. But all the way around, what I'm doing, Debbie, is with this one, I've gone into the left-hand side, and then the bottom of the reveal is against my base pencil line, and then we're repeating that, we're moving it over. So the base of the die is against the base of the pencil line, and that half circle is up against that pencil line. And then once we've done the top and the bottom, that then makes it a lot easier for us to find the middle visually. All that we need to do is come along. So the left-hand side, I'm going to pop against my pencil line, and all that you need to do, just roughly, visually, pop it into the middle, and then that's you're going to have your 6 of them that are in that perfect position. You're still going to have a little matting layer all the way round, and then that is the starter of your boxes for your reveal.
Perfect. I love that. Such a nice idea, isn't it?
I really enjoyed putting together this craft along. I'd done it it's about over a week ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then pop this one in, and we're going to run that one through. So we can then take this one in, and then what we can do is move this to the side, and we're going to pop that one off, and then there we go. So our first of 4, what we have then got is our small reveal door in the perfect position on one layer. So we've got all 6, and that's how we do the first one.
Amazing.
So,
Absolutely amazing.
I think, because I know, Debbie, I know you've got a couple of photos and that. Now, I know with the craft along, we always do it together. It's going to be so repetitive. So if at home with me, if you just do exactly the same on the other 3, and then we can be listening and follow along with what Debbie's saying, and I'll just crack on with these ones.
Fabulous.
Is that
yeah,
okay?
Absolutely. That
Let's do it.
sounds like a good plan. So Craig is not going to stop.
No.
He's going to carry on. So you do the same, and just it's a rinse and repeat. But we'll keep checking
nothing
in
different.
with Craig as well. Yeah, we've had someone send us in a photo, and I have to say, I'm so excited to see this photo, because you know how we say all about our crafty community. Community spirit here is absolutely amazing. We've got Adriana and Rhonda here. Rhonda's from Texas and Adriana is from San Antonio, and they were miles apart, and they've actually met up together, which I think is so lovely. And what a beautiful photograph, and it does show you it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can meet crafty friends. I know lots of you on our social have met this way as well, which is amazing. So Adriana, and Rhonda, thank you so much for sending in that photo, because it's really, really good to hear. There's so many of you joining us today. Let us know if you're crafting along, because it would be great to see if you are. Craig, lots of love still coming in for your sweater and jumper combo. Kimberly, it's your 29th wedding anniversary, so you're hoping that your hubby's going to give you some, get you some carte blanche with from your hubby to spend on some crafters companion goodies, which would be good. We've got Shadia in today saying good morning. Linda's in from happy Sunday, she's saying, to Craig, Debbie, Susie on the socials, and all her lovely crafty pals. And then we've got Lynn saying this will make a nice how many sleeps till Christmas countdown calendar.
Yeah, that would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely lovely, which would be really fabulous. Right, I'm going to go back a bit, because we did have some people asking about glue. So let's have a look at the questions. Craig, are you all right to answer questions while you're crafting along?
Absolutely.
We had the question about the pin in the bottle and the glue. Then we've been asked if you can use all-purpose glue in your little fine-tipped bottles.
That's another really good question. Yes, you can do. We do it here. If I find, here we go. We do it here. So you can see here, all-purpose glue. Just to say, you'll probably notice I never use it on here. I don't do it, but I don't do it, but we all do it. I don't do it.
We all do it different ways.
But there's a few. Yeah, it's one of those things. Some use one, some use another. So although I don't do it, that's why you never see me. Yeah, you absolutely can do. Other on the team will start to use it. So yeah, you can.
Yeah. Another question from Victoria, who's asking is if she can use red liner tape and also tacky glue to get together, would it be equally as strong?
Really good question. Yes, you can do. I've done it myself periodically. If you even using your red liner tape on your glitter card, although red liner tape on glitter card works better than normal tape on glitter card, I will still sometimes put my red liner tape on, put a little squiggle of our tacky glue on the back. What happens is the red liner tape gives that instant stick, and then the tacky glue, that starts to dry into the plastic of the red liner tape and into the grains of the glitter card or cardstock, whatever you're using. So yes, you can do.
And also, if anyone's a little bit scared of red liner tape because of its strength and they want a bit of wiggle room, if you put wet glue on the top of that, it gives you a bit of wiggle room as well, which is really good. So great question. And then one more, is the tacky glue safe enough for children from, say, ages 6 to 7?
Oh, I would say definitely.
Yeah,
Without a shadow of a doubt, I would jump in straight away and say absolutely, yeah. I think, would you say the same, Debbie?
Absolutely. It's a water-based glue.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously supervised. It's not a glue you want to get on your clothes or anything like that. But it's safe on hands, fingers. We touch it all the time. So, yeah, absolutely fine. Sarah Brown's in the house. Hello.
Hello.
From Australia. So Craig and Debbie and all the gang behind the scenes in the gallery and socials. She wanted to come on and say hello to everyone. It's 12:45. On Monday morning. I always find that so weird. I know it's the other side of the world, but it's so weird that you have your day before us. It's just strange, isn't it? Yeah, strange.
Cheesy
and Mary
joke.
Pat. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't tell me what happens later on today.
Yeah. Kathy Myers is in from Missouri, and Mary Pat is saying good morning to everyone from Montana. Good morning to everyone out there. Now, while Craig's still going through all his cutting and getting those through, I do want to show you something that's coming up in Second Chance Sunday later on, and it's something that it's the first time I've seen today. These launched, I believe, was it Tuesday, Jamie? They launched
Monday.
this week. Monday. So launched on Monday. These are beautiful. These are the Ellipse dies. Really beautiful designs. Anyone that doesn't know what Ellipse is, it means oval, I think. So it's like an oval die, but really pretty designs, and I love the fact that you can be really creative with these. There are 4 different designs, so you don't have to choose. You're getting all of these in the bundle, which are amazing. You're getting them, oh, I've just been told you didn't get the extra discount when they come out on Monday, so yeah, so if you're looking at them today, you're getting them for $25.55 or $31.80, but look at them, absolutely beautiful. I love the fact that you can cut them on the side of your card. I'm going to show a sample of each one, so you don't have to just keep it to one. Cutting them out a couple of times in there looks absolute. Look at that, that's amazing. It's cut twice in that one and then on the front of the card, so that's absolutely.
These ones.
What's special about these
Is
ones?
the die slightly deeper, Debbie, so they're designed so that they're going to cut through 2 layers, front and back, of your white multi-purpose
so
cardstock.
that's where this card comes
Exactly,
into it.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, Craig, that's a game changer. So if I lift that up, look, it's cut through to the opposite side.
And you'll notice, Debbie, no
amazing.
buckling with pressure, no feathering on that back layer. It's perfect.
That's gorgeous. That's in the demo of the week, that one. That's beautiful. Oh, I like it. Oh, I can see what you mean now. I've just felt them. Yeah, the dies are thicker, aren't they?
Yeah.
Wow, absolutely gorgeous. What perfect designs these are. Look, cutting through to the back. Absolutely gorgeous. So if you want to get these today, they are coming up in Second Chance Sunday. Have you got a demo with these ones at all, Craig?
What was that, sorry?
Have you got a demo with these ones later on?
I do have a couple with me, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I
So
do.
we'll see these in action. So absolutely beautiful. Last design. I love the fact that it really frames a card. Absolutely gorgeous. Now remember, platinum price today, you are getting them not for £20.44. You're getting another 5% off of that. So it's that little extra. Silver and gold members and bronze, you'll all go up to that next level. So if you are a gold member, you will get the platinum price for these today. £20 for 4 dies. That's amazing. You will love those ones, just as I've done today. Absolutely gorgeous, and a great one to have. Now remember, you can go in and get Sarah's signature bag as well. We've got the mystery bag, which is amazing. We've got so much on the show, but we're going to give you a little bit of time just to shop out if you've got something in your basket, and we're going to be looking at one of our unsung heroes, which actually doesn't like being in front of the camera.
Nope.
Have a look at this.
My unsung hero has to be Tracy. I'm going to give a little shout out to our Tracy.
I think if I had to nominate somebody, I'd probably go with Tracy.
Because Tracy keeps me fully supplied with cups of tea whenever I'm working here. She always finds me the things that I've lost, and she's always great to be around.
Sort of get involved with our sample library, which is massive. It's where all the samples are kept, all nice and neatly, all labelled up. And part of their job is to get the necessary samples out for the shows that we do every day, get them all ready and prepared, often display them, tidy them away again, pop them back in the sample library, and that takes an inordinate amount of time.
Because they literally are the cogs that keep us working, and I don't think a lot of people realise just what they do for us in terms of getting everything show ready so that we can come in, get ready and be relaxed to go on air and do those kind of things.
So that is just a small part of what they do, you know, as well as being floor managers during the shows, getting us any products that we need, and most importantly bringing the coffee.
Everybody on screen knows I make everybody's tea and coffee.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
One that was really funny, Ben. You didn't.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I am a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? We'll do it. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
I'm always so wowed by our videos, and to know how many shows that we have going, it's quite incredible. So you know where to find us, Crafters TV, and we do lots every single day. So remember, we're interactive, so send us in your messages. Anything you need to ask Craig while he's demoing, anything you need recapping, just ask. You can see below how to get social with Crafters TV. You can send anything into the studio as well, which is fabulous. But for now, we're going to get straight back over to Craig and recap on what we're doing there.
Excellent, and that's well timed because then I've still got another one to do. So if you didn't hear me go over the measurement, or not the measurements, but the flow of where to pop the dies, then I can step you through that again in the next one. So I'll just finish the panel that I was on, which this also shows that even although I threw back over to Debbie, I haven't pre-prepped these or anything like that. We literally do craft along live with you at home. So I'm going to finish off this panel here, and then I'll do my next one so that we can then explain to anyone that needs it gone over again. what I would say is when you're taking off your low-tack tape, be careful that you don't pull open the doors, of course, because it's got that, it's very much like a perforated edge. That's that feel to it. So just be careful you don't pull too much and then you open the door. So what I tend to do is I tend to grip side by side and then open up. So let's take that bit of low-tack tape that's left sitting. So I'm going to set that to the side. So if you need me to go over the measurements again or you didn't quite catch me, here we go. Let's do that. Let's bring in my white. So what I was explaining before is with the ruler, so about 1/4 of an inch or this first line in. So this side of my ruler is our metal edge and this first line in, what I was doing was going up against the edge of my cardstock and drawing a light pencil line. So we can work that one all the way round. I'll reiterate these measurements as well on the Centura Pearl. So anyone that needs help with that one again, we're just going to go around. I'm doing it lightly as a guide. So 4 panels, Centura Pearl, Snow White with a hint of silver, 6 by 8, and we'll cut that 4 times. We've then gone round the edge with our pencil line, and then to get them in that perfect symmetrical position, we're going to pop our die up to that 90-degree corner of the pencil line, and we're going to pop that one into place. And we're going to pop this one in to our folder. We're going to run that one through. And then what you can do afterwards, whether you are crafting along with me now and then you're going to make another one afterwards, or I know some of you, what you tend to do is watch live and then you craft along at a later date. You get the feel and the flow of the craft along. What you can then do is if you want to use your large, your Gemini, then of course you can be doing this step of the craft along, and then you can also be cutting the matting layers to go in the center of your door if you're using the large Gemini all at once. And I know that's why some of you like to craft along afterwards. You do exactly as I do, but you craft along afterwards because then you can see, well, I can do it in maybe a bit less than 2 hours. If I use my large Gemini and do all my cutting at once, it's one of those, we come here for the 2 hours or just shy of 2 hours. Sometimes we then get close to running overtime. Sometimes, and which is a good, in a strange way, it's a good thing. Sometimes if we make mistakes, we get to show live what we've done, show that we're all human and that we can then rectify it. So we're going to go in, so up to the top right-hand corner, then done the same down to the bottom left-hand corner, 90 degree. We're going to do the same with this one here, so bottom right-hand corner. So we're going along our pencil line, and then our half circle, that's going to go up against the right-hand side of our pencil line. So that gives us our top and our bottom. It then gives us a really, really easy visual of where to pop the die centrally when it comes to the middle here. I'm using the small of the square reveal die. If you're going to do a bigger advent calendar, then you might want to mix and match your small, your medium, maybe your large. You might want to do the small square, small half circle, and the small rectangle. That is something that you can then have a play with yourself afterwards as well. But we're then going to visually pop it up to the left-hand side of our pencil line. We're going to pop that one in to the left-hand side. And what I'm trying to be really good at, because this isn't my MIDI or my folder, is flipping and rotating the folders to ensure that it stays straight. So pulling this one off so we can come into the opposite side. We're going to go in, I'm going to pop that one up to the right-hand side of the pencil line. Visually, I'm ensuring that I'm central. If you want to be more precise with a ruler or pencil, you can do that. But I'm quite comfortable in doing it visually. Popping it in once again. And then I just need to do that once more, and then we can then move on to the next bit. So we can recap that one. And I think it works well with your Centura Pearl with a white, snow white. But there's nothing stopping you from doing this even into your glitter card. Yeah, it could be imagine that, a real sparkly front to your advent calendar. You could do that. But all we need to do, 1/4 inch all the way round. We're going to go round. And what I would say at this point, if you can try and be a little precise, only because we're going to create a template in a moment so that we can stamp our stamped image in each section, and then come December, when you start to open the doors, you know that your stamped image is going to be bang center behind the door. And it's one of those, it took me about 15 minutes, Debbie, to think, right, how am I going to do this where I know I'm going to get my stamped image central behind the door, but without knowing where I'm stamping it because I can't open the door.
Yep.
So there's a nice little hack that I'll show you. And then the hack that I show you, the tip that I show you, that is then going to follow on through whatever size, whatever style of advent calendar you're going to make, you'll be able to do, or whatever card you're going to make, you'll be able to do what I show you to ensure you get your stamped image in that perfect position so that you know when you open the door, you're not going to be left with half a stamped image peeping out the door or completely off scale. Let's just run that one through. We can then take this one, bringing this one in. And then, although I'm using my stamps, if you use any of your little die cuts, hey, maybe you got last year's advent calendar and you've got your dies from that. You could die cut them out into a little bit of glitter card or any other cardstock. And instead of doing your stamped image, you could do your die cut image instead. Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah, that's great. I thought actually what you was going to say is you could use your dies to re-put back into this calendar.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'd never thought of that one either.
You're like, oh, that's a surprise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a surprise. Oh, I forgot I had that. Yeah,
and I suppose, Craig, I mean, you're making it into more of a card one where you've got sort of stamps or surprise sentiments and, you know, photo frames, that sort of thing. But you could make little tiny boxes and stick them behind as well.
Absolutely.
But I know in a craft along, you're governed by that 2 hours.
That's it, yeah.
But this gives you all the tools you need to actually add to it or do less or more.
Exactly, yeah. I know Liam had done a blog post on the advent calendar, that's still on our website. But then what you can do is you can then go and take your Scoremaster, take your Ultimate Pro, take the tools that you've got, take your USB that we've done with Sarah and our concept cards, our boxes, our gift boxes, take that idea and inspiration and start to incorporate your advent into that. Or your reveal into them. Do you know what I mean? It could be little boxes and you stick them up onto, say for instance, A4, A3. It could be a big bit of A5 cardstock and you make 24 individual boxes from your Ultimate Pro or your USB, and then you can construct your reveal die or reveal into the top of those little boxes. So there really is lots of ways in which you can create your calendar. So that is now my 4 panels cut. So we can then take that away. There's no getting away from that step. If you're wanting to do a 24-door advent calendar, then you need to cut them 24 times, especially if you are doing them symmetrically. I could have, to cut down on time, Debbie, I could have used my set and used Tracy's set, but then I would have been a lot further ahead than
Yes.
all of you at home,
Absolutely.
which defeats the purpose of the craft along.
Absolutely. In fact, I know this sounds silly, Craig, but I'm quite liking just all this die cutting. It's quite relaxing. It's almost a little bit like when we say about colouring and that. It's quite mindful just watching you do all these die cuts. I'm not actually finding it repetitive. I quite like it.
Yeah, it gives you the chance to just chat away as well, whether we're chatting to each other or explaining bits and pieces. It's nice. Because sometimes when it's step after step after step, you're verbally explaining what you're doing. So it's nice just to take a step back, do my die cutting and chat away with
and just
whatever.
seeing it come together as well. Like, I think that's just a great idea how you've made that actual grid, so you can sort of follow that really simply to get that all in line and not took long at all.
Yeah, so you can I'm not going to lie here, Debbie. I didn't actually hear what you said there because Jamie just said something else in my ear.
No, I just think it's very clever how you've done it as a grid, and taught us how to get that in a straight line. Because I was thinking when I first looked at your craft along, wow, how did you get that? You must have done all this measuring.
Yeah.
And actually all you've done is that borderline around the edges and it works perfectly.
Using the tools I've already got. It might not even be a ruler, and creating that border all the way around. And that's simply what I've done, is created my border. So all I've done is taken my eraser and rubbing out that edge there. So I'm just working my way around, taking it out. There's nothing stopping you. What you could have done if you wanted to, you could have done what I've done with the ruler. Instead of using a pencil, use your gold metallic pen from Colour Me Happy.
Oh, good idea, because then you could create a frame then.
Exactly, yeah. So you wouldn't have to then take your eraser and take this bit out. So I'm trying to be so careful because I call it the other word. I call it the other word. So let's go. I'm going to take these ones out here and then we're going to do exactly the same. Take them away. And because we've done it quite lightly, it makes it even easier to discard all of that line.
So Shadia said what you were saying actually, that if that she has gone ahead and bought 2 or 3 dies in the past, so she can cut them faster and quicker. Sometimes I'm too lazy, so I would have 2 or more sets. Shadia, I don't think that's laziness.
No.
I think that's very wise. I know I've done that before, especially when things have been on offer, to buy another set, because especially like things like create a card dies, where you can use them multiple times. I think it's a great idea to have a couple of the dies. And these ones would be fabulous to have more of, especially if you are wanting to create advent calendars every year.
Exactly.
Because it would save so much time, wouldn't it, to have a couple of sets?
It would do. But then now that you're in control of making your Christmas advent calendar, because you've got the tools, what about a wedding advent calendar? You could do a countdown to maybe your wedding day if you wanted to. I know very rarely do babies come on time, but if you've got a date, you know, you could still do an advent calendar to the date that it's due if you wanted to. So you've got the tools. I'm showing you the basis of a simple form advent calendar. You can do it for whatever occasion you like. So completely up to you.
Like you say, there's nothing to say it has to be Christmas. Barbara's saying that she's bought 2 sets of the dies. Well done, Barbara. Kimberly is saying that she would buy 6 sets.
6 sets. 6 sets. And just actually going back onto explaining why I've done that with the pencil line to make it symmetrical, Debbie. I could have come here and just said, right, just randomly place them wherever. Where there's a lot of people at home would be like, no, I want it symmetrical. So at least if I show you how to do it this way, then if you want to do it randomly, I don't need to explain how you do it randomly, you just do it randomly. So it's better to explain one way and then you can then follow suit and then do it that way, or you can choose to do it randomly. It's the best way. So what we're going to do now, if I remember correctly, I didn't actually put this on the list, but this is white. No, I did put it on. Yep, no, it's just come to me now. White multi-purpose cardstock. We're going to create our template. And the best way to explain what I was trying to explain earlier on, when we go and stamp our stamp image underneath, say I come along and I stamp, how do you know that's going to be central to behind the door where you can't work out where it's going to go? So this is where a template comes into play. So what we're going to do is take in our white multi-purpose cardstock, and we're going to cut to 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. So what we can then do is we can then take this one, and we're going to do what we've done before, and we're going to then cut. We're going to draw a pencil line. And this template, this is one, what I would do is I would keep stored in my drawer or my stash, because it means once I've done this once to create this template, then keep a hold of it and I can reuse this time and time again. And then what we can do what we've done. We're going to bring that die in once again. So we're going to be using the die again. So essentially, we are doing this another time, but this time the white multi-purpose card is a bit smaller than the Centura Pearl. It is 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. So what we can then do is I'm running this one through. So if I take this one in, we can then pop that one off. So if I then take that. So we're going to pop that to the side once again. Nothing different. The only thing that's different is the size of the card, but I have still gone around with a pencil line that is 1/4 inch all the way around, or the first line of the ruler. So I'm going to speed through this bit. Don't worry about the tape because of the pressure of the Gemini multi-purpose card. If it does tear any of the fibres, don't worry, because this bit isn't going to be seen. And in actual fact, what we're actually going to do is we're going to open the doors and chop them off so that we've got a template. So let's take these ones out. So we're going to go in, peel these ones off. So work our way along. So I'm going to take that one off. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to take the low-tack tape off and then reapply it. Then we're going to pop this one in. So if I take that one down, I'm just going to take this little bit off, although it's not essential. I'm taking it off because it'll annoy me. So run it through. So we're going to run this one through. Do this 2 centre bits. So let's remove this one. So we're going to then take that one out and peel that one off. And we're going to go into our centre point. We're going to press this one in. And you might wonder, well, if it's a little bit smaller than the Centura Pearl layer, does that mean it's still not going to be kind of central into the back? I'll show you another layer in a moment. So let's run this one through once again. Get our last one done. So let's take this one off. So if I take that off, I'm going to go into our last bit. So work that in to the right hand side. We're going to get that central. We're going to tape that one down. And then once I'm straight, add that one in.
Lots of talk on erasers, Craig.
On erasers, is there? Funny enough that. Funny enough. I'm surprised I've not slipped up. Yes.
There's people saying, just say it, just say it.
Just say it. Just say it.
Sandra is saying that she won't be making an advent calendar because she wants her Crafter's Companion advent calendar. Well, don't worry, Sandra, because you don't want to be giving that one away. You want that for yourself.
Definitely not.
These are to make for someone else.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't want to worry about it. Yeah, you can have best of both worlds, can't you?
Absolutely. And anyone in the UK that's wondering when the advent calendar is coming to us, I think you've only got to wait a couple of weeks.
I don't think it's long, is it?
And we will have them. Not long at all.
Not long.
It might be, just saying, the best one yet.
I think I would agree with you on that one. I definitely would. So now that I've gone through the 4 edges, I think what we could do, Debbie, is if I do this step here, so we'll open these up and then we'll chop the doors off, and then if we take a little break and then we can come back and then we can then start to finish our advent calendar, because I know the next step is another one where you need to try and get it central or accurate. So I'm going to go in. I find it easier to use my craft knife and cut these off. Once again, this point here, you don't have to be overly neat, because no one's going to see this. This is so that you can use it as a template for you to then stamp in the middle of.
Kimberly's asking why the card is smaller. I don't think it is smaller, is it? Is this the same as your card that you cut out of, your normal ones?
So this white multi-purpose cardstock is a bit smaller than our Centura Pearl.
Right.
So the Centura Pearl is 6 by 8. And this piece that we've done as a template is 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, and that will become apparent just shortly.
Oh, okay. So be patient, Kimberly. It will all become clear.
Reasons for everything. So taking these ones off, we're then going to go and make sure, if you're doing it this way with your craft knife, don't cut all the way down. You still want to create and have that aperture of each door, because if you cut all the way down, then you're going to lose that guide of the door. So go between the top and the bottom. Scissors, craft knife. As I say, it doesn't need to be neat, as long as you have got that aperture. So we can then pop that one out, carefully pop them ones out. Such a satisfying sound.
I was literally going to say that. That's so satisfying, ripping that door apart,
really
isn't it?
is. So if I remove that, then that now gives us our template that you can keep a hold of if you're going to recreate this advent calendar time and time and time again. We can stop there, because I know that was a lot in that last little bit. So just to recap, Centura Pearl, 4 layers, 6 inches by 8 inches. We've drawn our pencil line 1/4 of an inch all the way round. We've die cut our small door, and we've used our eraser to take away the edge. So we've done that 4 times, that we can see here. And then with our multi-purpose cardstock, 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, we've done the same with the pencil line, done the same with the doors, but then we've opened them and chopped them off. Take a break there for anyone that needs to catch up, and then we can come back, and then we can then start to construct our advent calendar.
Fabulous, and that makes a lot of sense. So stay tuned for the next bit. So it's all becoming to make sense, and actually Craig's got some amazing ideas. Inkwell Chick has just said that she's waiting on these dies in her order, but she says, now Craig and Debbie have convinced me that I need a second set, and they're now in my basket. Shame on you too. I love that, Inkwell Chick. But you know, it's all for the good. It means that quick, easy crafting when you've got an extra set of them. You can always gift one of them if you're only going to use one of them later on. Anyway, we're going to get on with another special that's coming up in Second Chance Sunday, and that is our Sharon Callis goodie bag. Now, I think you all know that Sharon Callis is an amazing designer who's created some of our amazing quilling dies, which just look incredible. And I have to say, you've got quite a bit in here. We're going to have a bit more of a thorough look into this one, show you exactly what you get in here. There's all sorts in this bag, which is quite incredible. To start with, this really large die. Now this bag, everything I'm showing you're getting for £25 or $35 today. If you're platinum price, the gold members are going to get it for £20. Platinum are going to get another 5% off that, which is incredible value. So everything I show you is what you will get in this bag. First of all, your happy birthday. So this is your aperture die. This comes with dies and stamps. You'll then get in all of our different, this is the grasses one you've got here. You've got one of the flowers. Let me see which one this one's from. This is our mountain peony. You're getting, and even if you've got these, gift giving or having multiples, the neon break, is it the neon breaker? I think that one's called. Yes, neon breakers. got another one here. Which one's this one? We've got the jade. So you're going to be able to create all these different flowers or different sort of aloes and baby aloe there. Then we've got some stamps. So you've got your happiness stamp in there. You've got your wonderful stamp. They're amazing, really large stamps. You've got another one of those dies which is incredible. So the sending blessings on that one. And then to top it all, you're actually getting one of Sharon's pads as well. That is an unbelievable bundle for £25 or $35. So much you're getting for your money in there. So if you want to go for that, you'll see the code at the top there, and that is our Sharon Callis mystery bag, which is amazing. Now, have you ever wondered what makes Crafters TV so special? Have a look at this.
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the products.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other, where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special? 100% it's the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part. And it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
It feels to me to be a really, really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
Massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously. The people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
And we love you all too as well. I hope you enjoyed the craft along. Craig's making an amazing advent calendar. We are showing you those beautiful door reveal dies. Now, although Craig's making an advent calendar, don't forget you can use them for so many different things on your crafting. So they're a great one to have. We've got them for $29.99 today, which is a great saving. $23.99 if you are if you are platinum, or if you're a gold member actually, because you are getting them for $23.99. So just to let you know that for anything that you buy this weekend, we are putting you up a level, so giving you that sort of taster event of what it's like to be in the platinum, in the gold, whichever level you're on, you'll just go up that level and get the benefits of that level. But I think if you're all right, Craig, we're going to head back over to you and continue.
Let's go for it then. Right, so when you were wondering why was that white layer a little bit smaller, let's bring in our guillotine and let's bring in more of our multi-purpose card. So what we need to do now is we need to bring in our multi-purpose card, and once again we're going to cut these 4 panels to 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. So we're going to go in and we're going to do 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. We're going to do 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then once again we're going to do 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. So that gives us our 4 panels now. So then what we can then do is, because it's the exact same size, what we can then do is we can then take, that's going to sit directly over our base. So that means that we're going to be able to stamp centrally behind what will be each door. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to then, to speed this one up a little bit, we're going to come in. I'm going to use my large stamping platform, and I'm going to pop my layer on. Now you could be using your magnetic discs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my low-tack tape as well, just to hold it in, because that's 2 layers of 300 GSM cardstock. So what I can then do is if I bring in my 2 stamp sets here, so I've got my 2, and what I'm also going to do is, I'm going to get that in a specific place on my stamping platform. So let's line that up once again. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow suit. Remember our rotating stamps. You stamp, you turn 90 degrees, you stamp, you turn 90 degrees, stamp. I'm following that idea for when it comes to this. So what I'm going to do is just with a pen that I can then clean off, I'm just going to put a little guide. So that gives me a reminder of that is the 90-degree corner that I'm going to use each time. So I'm going to go in with our poinsettia. Let's do our poinsettia in there. Let's do a bauble in there. Let's do a leaping reindeer there. Let's do a standing stag down here. And this is where what Debbie was saying earlier on, is could be one of your die cuts. And if it is a die cut, it will of course add a tiny, tiny little bit of bulk, but it doesn't matter. You're still going to be able to construct your cardstock or your advent calendar in the same way. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to pop them here. Now the reason I've put that there as a guide, because what I'm going to do, Debbie, is I'm going to stamp all 6 in the same position on all 4. Now if you want to mix it up, you absolutely can do. Again, it's one of those things, I'm against the clock. So for me to randomly stamp differently on every platform would take a little bit extra time. So I'm going to do this on all 4. So now that I've got my card where I need to go, my stamps where I need to go, I'm going to bring in some of our quick dry. So I'm going to use our seal brown for my reindeer and stag. I'm going to use Chinese red for my poinsettia and my bells. I'm going to use baby blue for my snowflake, and I'm going to use, which I thought was fuchsia, it's not, there we go, I've got my fuchsia now with the bauble. So what I can then do, stamp this one into place. So I'm going to press and stamp, and then remove that one out the way. Now you can see that snowflake that you can see. What I did do on my original one is I done the tip that Leanne does, and I stamped it again twice with my stamping platform. Bit against the time, so I'm not going to, but you can still crystal clear see that I've got my stamps, and they're going to be in that perfect position when you open the door to be central. So let's do that again. So once again, I am lining my card up against my template. I'm going up against that 90-degree corner, because then that means I can then stamp, and I'm going to be central in each of these doors every single time. So
it's such a good idea. Baby
blue. And there's maybe other ways in which you can do it, but for me, I took a good hour trying to think, right, what's the best way to do it? Because essentially, you would be stamping blind. You know, it's that reveal. The reveal could be, have you stamped it centrally or popped your die cut in centrally? But it's a nice way to ensure you've then got them all in the right position. And then what it means as well is nothing wrong with stamping them all individually with your little stamping platform But at least this just cuts down a little bit of time. So we can then remove that one. We can then pop our fourth one on, and then third one, sorry. Once again, we're going to go up to that 90-degree corner. We can then bring in our seal brown. These are all the quick dries. We're going to go in fuchsia, and we're going to go Chinese red, and then we're then going to go baby blue. Now, although all of these on the back panel are going to be in that same position, because your numbers are going to be random, you're not going to be opening the same ones in the same consistent flow.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be what am I going to get today? So I'm just going to go in. Good thing with our large stamping platform is I can go in, repress, and that's as good. Same with my poinsettia. I can then remove that one, and then with our last layer, we can then do exactly the same. So I'm going to pop right up to the top here. I'm going to use my tape to hold it down, and then baby blue, Chinese red. Imagine what this would look like if you used your metallic ink pads that we had earlier on.
Oh, they would be amazing, wouldn't
It would look beautiful, wouldn't they? Or if you use them, or maybe your pigments, and do a little bit of heat embossing, you can do that, because there's still nothing stopping you from doing your heat embossing or using your metallic ink pads or anything like that. All you want to do is ensure that they're relatively flat, so you've not got a lot of bulk. But as Debbie was saying earlier on, if you want to have a play and create a little bit of a lip to it, so it's going to be like a little box, you can pop little things behind it, then you can.
What you could do, Craig? You could put it onto foam pads or foam tape.
Yeah.
And especially for kiddies, you could put a coin, like a 10p or 20p or 50p.
Brilliant idea.
And then on Christmas Eve, so you could have a little pot, so they collect all their coins and then take them out Christmas Eve to have a little treat before Christmas Day.
Oh, I love that idea, Debbie.
And then that way you've still got a picture in the box, but you've actually got a coin to go out and spend once you've got collected them all. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be expensive, does it?
It doesn't. No, it really,
Although
really
if
doesn't.
anyone's going to make me one, could I have a £2 coin?
£2 coin, yes. The good thing with kiddies is they seem to think the bigger the coin, which is usually 2p or 10p or that, they're the best ones, aren't they?
Yeah,
so
that's
you
it.
could get away with that.
I've always loved a 50p piece.
Yeah, something substantial about it, eh?
I love a 50p piece, yeah.
Especially the old ones.
Oh, have they? Oh, what, the king will be on
Oh, with the
them.
king on them.
Well, there was a comment coming earlier, but I didn't really like to read it out because it seemed a little bit cheeky. But it was to do with Prince Charles
All right.
being 3D.
Okay, being 3D. I'm intrigued
But I
as
did
to
think
that.
about that. All our money will have to change.
It will,
won't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Over time. I noticed, funny enough, I got a leaflet from Royal Mail the other day, and theirs are a way to, the stamps and that are a way to be changing.
Of course, yeah.
So,
of course.
so yeah, that's going to be changing. Just what I'm doing here, Debbie, on the back of our die cut layers, I'm using my tacky glue, but I'm making sure that I don't go onto the back of the die cut door. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to open it. So I'm making sure my glue is in between. And then for me, what I find easier doing, because this is then slightly smaller, what I can do is layer that
Ah, so you can see the rim around.
down on itself. I can see the rim, as you're saying, all the way round. But then what happens is when I come and mat and layer that onto my coloured cardstock, you're not going to get any excess of that white card peeping out.
Yeah,
You've got
brilliant.
it so that you've got that nice layer, and so that you've got that little rim or border, you know that it's going to be central. When you open that door, that's it.
And that's why it was smaller.
And that's why it was smaller. Absolutely.
Always a way. Carol's asking, Craig, if you've got any thoughts about how you can create little trays inside to put little thin pieces of candy in.
Oh, now there's a good question.
I suppose you could sort of create a box, little base or lid, but add an extra bit to create a little flap to stick it down with.
You could, yeah. And then, so I'm trying to see.
You've stumped us there.
You have.
Carol.
You really, really
but I
have.
would just make it on your boxer board and
Boxer
just
board?
make a little boxer, like a little box, but only half a box. But add a little bit extra just so you can stick it down.
Yeah.
So you've got tabs all the way round the edge, if that makes sense.
That's it, yeah. I suppose it's... what I would do, for me anyway, because this is where it would be something that I would need to sit and have a play about, I would take inexpensive cardstock and just have a play, see what you can come up with. Don't forget, as we were saying earlier on, we do the same, you know, we'll have a look on Pinterest and YouTube and that. So see what other crafters out there are doing, and then I know so many of them love for you to recreate what they do, so you could follow their steps but then incorporate our advent calendar and or our reveal doors. But yeah, I couldn't think off the top of my head as to how to do it. It's a good one. It's similar to what Debbie just said a moment ago, yeah.
I don't want chocolate though, I want real money.
You want real money.
So someone has just said about having chocolate coins behind the doors.
Good one.
Yeah, Laura has just said you could use chocolate coins behind the doors. Yeah, that's a great idea, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Jamie's just saying we wouldn't know how to hold it in. You just use one of our glue dots. Just use one of our dry glue dots, because your chocolate coins have that foil. So a glue dot would be fine. Wouldn't use hot glue because that would just melt an element of your glue.
If you're using foam all around the edges, so you've got a little bit of depth, it would just stick to the foam anyway once it was in there, yeah.
It absolutely would. That's the thing, you know, and that's what we say with the craft alongs as well. And it was touching upon what I said earlier. Some of you watch them to get the initial idea and then you add to it. So you may think, right, the initial idea of Craig creating that advent calendar, and then, right, how am I going to do it into a box advent calendar? How can I make it bigger? You know, how can I incorporate the other elements of the reveal dies?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. It's part of the fun as well, isn't it? As to what you can create afterwards. So now that I have got my stamped images underneath for all four, and we could potentially, for me, this may be the only second craft along that time may beat me.
Well, I have to be honest, Craig, I think you've done remarkably well. When you think about 24 doors and you've stamped behind them and done your matte layering and all that card, I think that's perfect. So even if you don't get a chance to get all your numbers on, I think this has given everybody those steps that they really need to create this just amazing advent calendar.
Thanks, Debbie. What we could do is, or what I will do is, because what we still need to do 24 times, not only cut the numbers, but that smaller matte and layer die, that we would need to cut 24 times. So I think what we could do is if I at least do one panel, and we can show you how I've decorated one panel, and then all that you need to do is then just repeat
it, yeah, absolutely.
the other ones. So once again, all
I think the
going to
good
go
thing
in.
is with this one, Craig, it isn't one you need to do from start to finish, because actually, even if you just made one of the panels, it shows people what they're doing and how they do it. I think your hints and tips on how to line things up, creating templates, honestly, they're not stuff that I would think of at the top of my head, and I'm sure a lot of you out there wouldn't have done either. So I think you'll agree that this has been a really in-depth and thoroughly thought out craft along as well. I absolutely love it.
Thanks, Debbie, I appreciate that. Because it took, I would say this one and my cracker box, these two are the longest that it's taken me to think, to measure, to construct, little hints and tips to make it easier. So,
and that's exactly what craft along should be like, isn't it? I mean, because we want to take that hard work away from you. We want you to be able to find all our craft alongs achievable. And actually, because you can watch back, you can pause, so you can stop Craig wherever, you can catch up with what he's doing. And I think that's the perfect time, is when you're in that frame of mind where you've got time to sit and relax and do the craft along. And this one is lovely and thorough, and I love that you've managed to get all the concepts done, because that's what a craft along is about, isn't it? It's making that main concept.
It really, really is. So I'm glad we managed to get what we have done, because all that I'm doing now is cutting these little mats, and these are all, this is now your optional bits. You know, you don't have to use the Matte and Laird dies, even although they're included, you don't have to use them. So what I'm going to do, and you might notice from up above, I use my teal cardstock onto the layer with the raspberry cardstock. That's, I like having that little bit of fun, that change of colour, but of course you can put the teal onto the teal if you wanted to. I think it makes it a little bit more striking to the eyes, but because it's all from that cardstock range, the Frosty and Bright, it all works.
Yeah, it's nice when you have a collection of pads, isn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Kimberly's saying you could make shaker windows.
You could, yeah.
I love that idea. Nicola's saying, yes, she likes a shaker card, and she's saying she totally agrees with me. Amazing project, Craig.
Thank you. Because, you know, I did think, right, can we make a box advent calendar? Shaker crossed my mind as well. And then once I got started, I realised that although it's a straightforward project, because there's a lot of repetitiveness in it, it's a time-consuming one.
Absolutely.
And once again, as we keep referring to it, I just knew that time would be against us. Hence why I thought, right, let's make it in a simpler form, and you can then, afterwards, at your own leisure, you can have a little bit of a play. You'll maybe take inspiration from what Michelle has done, what Liam's done, what others have done, and put your own little stamp onto it. So what I'll do is I'll just do these two panels, because all that I would do is exactly the same for the other two. And you could be more careful with your layer, of course. As we say, or as I say, you can always tell when I'm not using my own cardstock product, because I just die cut anywhere and everywhere. If I'm using my own, then I'm as stingy as anything, and as a viewer you're able to tell. Craig's using his own stuff there because he's not wanting to waste it all. So let's run this one.
So Christine Mahoney, come on, hi Christine. She said, thanks Craig, yes, you went above and beyond. You really only needed to show us one panel to put together, but one panel is enough to show us to do the repetitive work, but she thanks you so much. Michelle has asked, could you double up on your papers to cut down on the number of times you cut? That's quite true, you could do that as well. And Shadia is saying, Craig, compliments to you, my friend. The best craft along project bar none.
Oh, bless
there
you guys.
Go. And I agree, yeah,
Thank
absolutely
you.
Amazing. And you know what, because sometimes it is all about that concept and being able to show it. And I think what you've demonstrated here, Craig, is how difficult a craft along can be to think about and get all the measurements right, and to do it all in 2 hours. It's quite a big feat, isn't it?
You know, it is. It really, really is. But then to say as well, you know, there's some craft alongs I do that are straightforward. Please don't take away the factor that even if it's anyone else on the team doing their craft along, it takes time. You know, as crafters at home, if you're making something, it can take a bit of time. So whatever the craft along that we are doing as a whole team, it can take time. And we do that because
I think I
Normally
had
it's at
6 in a month, Craig.
Yeah.
And it's hard because
Yeah.
you have to think about all these different things to do. But actually, I love, like you, absolutely love a craft along because to be able to craft in real time is amazing. But it's actually quite nice to go away and think about the things that you want to do and craft with and things
Yeah.
that you want to make yourself as a crafter. And these are usable, aren't they? So this is going to be a lovely gift for somebody.
It is. It really is. It's nice to sit and do it, and as you say, think of ideas. And like you, Debbie, I think, I've been back 3 weeks now, and this is my 4th craft along.
Oh, wow.
So I've had quite a few.
They run in stages, don't they?
They
And
do,
then I
don't
don't
they?
seem to have one. Oh, I have got one actually. I think not next week, the week after. It might be next weekend. I've got the one with the zigzag dies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm quite looking forward to that
Oh,
one.
that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. And sometimes it is just about crafting with the new products,
It
which
is.
is nice.
It really is, isn't it? Nice just to be able to do that, play with the new products. So what I did do is Debbie was chatting away in the last bit. I did cut some of these numbers because I knew, once again, we'd be running out of time. Now, my numbers that I'm using is from our Year of Crafts, and it was our gift-giving one that I've used. So what I've done is I've got a few numbers. So because I've done 12, let's aim for 6 doors. Let's aim for the 6 doors, because what you want to do is you want to do them randomly as well. So let's take these ones out the way for now. I've got a load of numbers at the side of me cut, but let's head in. So let's bring this one in. So all that I would then do is using my tape runner or your tacky glue, we're going to come in.
It's really handy these days having that inner part as well.
I love it.
Have that mats and layers makes it just even better.
It finishes it off, doesn't it? Really finishes it off. And even having the finger notch, because you could quite easily cut a square at 1.5 by 1.5 and it would look nice, but because it flows together, you've got that little finger notch there. Even myself, I wouldn't even contemplate doing that myself. I just wouldn't do it. I would just make it a clean cut square. So we can go in with this one. So working our way around. So I'm doing my raspberry, so raspberry, teal, then it would be raspberry, teal. That's the way that I would do mine. And I'm going to add these ones on. So all that you would then need to do is die cut your numbers so that you've got 1 to 24. I'm going to pop these, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to follow, because I can finish this afterwards and I want to finish it. So what I'm going to do is I'm then just going to follow what I'd done with my original. So I'm going to do number 2, actually, let's do 2, let's do 23, because as I say, I've got these cut, and this is just cut out of our multi-purpose white cardstock. I did try it with the Centura Pearl, and it looked lovely, Debbie, but I just thought that boldness of that white multi-purpose just stands out even more.
Yeah, no, I agree. It looks lovely. Well, you've got a lot of love. Jeffrey's saying it's been awe-inspiring concept. Great job from both of us. Thanks for sharing the ideas. Carol is saying that she loves seeing it in real time, although it'll probably take her twice as long or even longer. But that's the whole point, isn't it,
Took
Craig?
me hours. It took me hours to do this. So once again, when we come here, we are prepped to the 9th degree with our demos. That's because we sit at home or out there, just outside the studio there, and we prep them. So trust me, it takes us a while as well.
Mary Pat is saying that she'd like to put Christmas activities behind each door. Do you know what? I love that idea. You could actually make this into a bit of a game, couldn't you? You could put a charade or something.
Of course you could.
You know, or
Dares.
like you say, yeah.
Dares.
Jokes. You could put one of
Yeah.
Ben's jokes. I'm sure he's got plenty to tell you. You could put one of Ben's jokes behind each one of the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many different things, but I love that one. No 28, Craig. Doors only go to 24, Susie is saying.
What does it take, the 8 there?
And Kimberly said, thank you so much, Craig. It's a great project. So lots of love for this craft along. And remember, if you do get an opportunity to either craft along with Craig now or later on, please send us in your photos because we would love to see them and your take on them. And if anyone does get round to putting little cubes or boxes behind them, do let us know because it's always great to know who's been inspired by Craig's demos.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see what you do. What I love as well, whether it's a craft along I've done, or whether it's yourself, Debbie, or Corin, or anyone on the team, I love it when I go into I'm a fan of a Crafter's Companion and see makes. And it's, I've done this, followed Debbie's steps on the craft along, absolutely loved it. And then what I love to see as well, whereas Debbie used Frost Ray and Bright. I didn't have it, so I done what Debbie done, but I used my 'Tis the Season.
Yes.
It's nice to see these little takes as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Really
yeah,
is.
it's just knowing the tools, having that inspiration, isn't it? And just being able to do what works for you. And the great thing about Craft Along is obviously we give you all the list of materials and the tools that you need to do it. But like Craig said, you can use whatever you've got in your stash to do them. You might want to use your, we had the left fold alphabets and the numbers. You could use those numbers on here as well, which would give it another take on those numbers that you're putting on. So there's lots of different ways you can use your numbers. Remember, Sarah's signature bag had that stamp set which had all the numbers in them as well, so you would be able to stamp your numbers if you're a stamper. So lots of different ways. Oh, Craig, absolutely super. Love that.
So
absolutely loved it.
Sorry, Debbie. All that I would do is do exactly the same. So on this one, where am I? This one here, I would do the doors in turquoise, raspberry, and then turquoise. And then with my remaining numbers, what I've done is I just cut them out, because I had to cut them a number of times, no pun intended, and just set them 1 to 24, and then I lay them over the top and then stuck them into place. So then yours
and there you go.
would
when
look
you
like
finish
that.
it, that's how it'll look.
And that is how you would then carry on. And I was just thinking, remember our character tags? So the Christmas ones even, Christmas peekaboos, you know, you can then start to use them.
Yeah, so much. Well, Craig, you've definitely given me loads of inspiration. I know that Craig has given you loads of inspiration out there. Remember, our craft alongs are quite regular, so make sure you tune into them. Myself and Craig are going to be back later on, and it's going to be a great show because we have Second Chance Sunday. It's one of my favourite shows. I love to tune in for it when I'm not working, and I love to do it as well because it really does have the most amazing sort of everything that you love, everything we love, a little bit of a pick from all of the week. Remember, we've got our weekend saver, we've got our goodie bags, we've got our Sharon Callis goodie bags, just lots. There's 80% off some of the items, which is absolutely incredible. So yeah, a really lovely show. So thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, a lot of fun.
Amazing. A lot of fun. And we will catch you back here at 4 o'clock. So thank you for joining us. Bye.